You had something good. Maybe it was a relationship that was finally working, a goal you were actually making progress on, a version of yourself you were starting to believe in, and then something happened. Not from the outside, from inside you. You pulled back. You found a reason it wouldn't work. You stopped showing up. You let it fall apart. And some quiet part of you watched it happen. Afterward, you told yourself it wasn't the right time, that you weren't ready, that it just didn't work out. But somewhere deeper, you knew. Psychologists have a name for this. And once you understand what's actually happening in your brain when you do it, you will never see yourself the same way again. Here is the first thing I need you to hear. And I mean really hear it. Self-sabotage is not a character flaw. It is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is not something wrong with you specifically. According to psychologist Dr. Ellen Hendrickson at Boston University, self-sabotage is misplaced self-preservation. Your brain isn't trying to destroy you. It is trying to protect you. The problem is, it learned to protect you in a way that no longer fits who you are or where you're trying to go. Think about that for a second. Every time you've pulled back from something good, some part of you genuinely believed that pulling back was safer than moving forward. That's not weakness. That's a protection system doing its job. Just the wrong job at the wrong time. And there's a reason it works that way, a biological one. Your brain has two systems running at the same time, always. One system moves you toward things, growth, connection, opportunity, reward. The other pulls you away, threat, pain, uncertainty, danger. Think of it like driving a car with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You're burning the engine, but you're not really moving. In a stable life, these two systems work together. But when someone grows up in an environment that was unpredictable, critical, or where good things tended to end badly, the brake system gets overtuned. It starts reading opportunity as threat. You finally get the opportunity you wanted for years, and suddenly, you can't make yourself answer the email. You finally meet someone who treats you well, and you start feeling the urge to disappear. Researchers found something surprisingly consistent. People who self-sabotage most consistently show a measurable pattern of guilt over success, not fear of failure. Guilt over success. The brain learned somewhere that succeeding might cost something. Attention it didn't want, expectations it couldn't meet, relationships that might change. And so right before the finish line, the brake hits the floor. Not at the beginning, not in the middle, right before they would have made it. That is not a coincidence. That is a nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Pull back before something changes. This is the part most people have never heard, and it is the part that matters most. Self-sabotage is not a personality trait. It's not something you were born with. It is a survival strategy that you learned. At some point in your life, probably early, probably before you had the words to understand it, you learned something about what happens when things go well. Maybe when you succeeded, it brought attention you didn't want. Maybe when you were happy, something came and took it away. Maybe you learned that hope was dangerous, because hope had been followed by disappointment enough times that your brain made a quiet rule: don't get too close to good things. You didn't choose to believe that. You were young, you absorbed it, and your brain, which is designed above everything else to keep you alive, stored it, filed it under things that are true about me. And now, every time you get close to something good, that file opens, not loudly, not obviously, just a quiet pull, a sudden loss of motivation, a fight that comes from nowhere. Carl Jung spent his life studying exactly this. He called it the shadow. The unconscious part of you that holds everything you've pushed down and never examined. And he wrote something that neuroscience is now confirming. The psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. How many times have you called self-sabotage fate? Bad luck, wrong timing, just not meant to be, when really something unconscious was making the decision for you. Let me be completely honest before this section. There is no quick fix. Anyone who tells you there is selling something. What does exist is a way of working with this pattern that the research consistently supports. And it starts with something that sounds almost too simple. Because the moment most people notice self-sabotage, they immediately turn it into evidence against themselves. See, I'm broken. I do this every time. But shame doesn't break the cycle. Shame deepens it. Research from Dr. Kristen Neff, the University of Texas, one of the world's leading experts on self-compassion, found that self-criticism actually increases the likelihood of repeating self-defeating behaviors, while self-compassion, treating yourself with the same patience you'd offer a struggling friend, reduces them. So the first step is not judgment, it's recognition. I'm doing the thing again. I can see it happening, and I don't have to let it finish. The second thing Get curious about the pull. When you notice yourself pulling back from something good, instead of fighting it or judging it, get curious about it. Ask, what am I actually afraid of here? Not what you tell yourself you're afraid of. The real thing underneath. Is it that you'll fail? Or is it that you'll succeed? And then everything will be different. And you don't know who you are in that new version of your life. Psychologist Gay Hendricks calls this the upper limit problem. The idea that every person has an internal thermostat set to a certain level of happiness and success. When you exceed that level, even in a good direction, the thermostat kicks in, brings you back down to where it thinks you belong. Over time, you teach your nervous system that good things are safe to keep, that you can hold success without it being taken from you, that you are allowed to have what you're building. And the third thing, this comes directly from Jung. Make the unconscious conscious. Write it down. One honest question answered specifically, where in my life am I pulling back right now? And what is the story I'm telling myself about why? When you name the pattern in clear language, it loses some of its power. Not all of it, not immediately, but some. Because what was unconscious is now visible, and what is visible can finally be worked with. Understanding the pattern explains the behavior, but eventually, you still have to choose differently. Awareness is where healing starts. Action is what makes it real. You are not broken. The part of you that pulls back was trying to protect something real. It learned to do that job in a world that required it, but that world is not this world. And that protection, as real as it was, is costing you things you actually want. The gap between your hands and everything you're reaching for is not fate. It is not who you are. It is a pattern, and patterns can change. If this reached something real in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and tell me in the comment what exactly resonates with you. And if you want to keep going deeper into understanding yourself with honesty and science, watch this video. We dive deep in how can we manage our thoughts